worry, guys. You look great from up here. Well, now, the great thing about wedding is that the straight weddings is that, or let's say a girl and boy wedding is that you can be as romantic as you like. But the great thing about gay wedding is that you can be as cheesy as you like. So you can imagine how cheesy this is going to be. And you know what, guy? I am already loving it. I have been an emotional and cheesy person all my life. So I am allowed to be a cheesy person today because it's my wedding day. There is one person in this room to be blamed in part for my happiness, and that person is my friend, Dr. Kian Denihan. Kian, where are you?
You're not allowed to go on to meet Kian.
Where is Kian?
Speaking with the budget.
Oh, he has to be here. So let's take a break for Kian.
He was under the table.
Okay, talking about Kian. I still remember that day when I said to him that John has invited me to go to his house for dinner. And I didn't want to go because I was single and I was having fun. Dublin was for me, I was only a year here in this country, and Dublin was for me a novelty. So I was trying to have as much fun as possible. And he encouraged me that 15th of July, 7 years ago, to go and have dinner with John in his house because John has invited me. So that... Is he coming now?
Yeah.
No. Oh well.
Okay, you will tell him.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So I still remember that day when I mentioned to him, Kian, John has invited me to go to his house for dinner. So and he said to me, well, go. If I was you, I would go. And he mentioned all the qualities John had. He said, John is a nice man, he's good looking, he blah 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 and blah blah blah. But then he did. But then he mentioned something that was really relevant to me. He said, I have never heard anything bad about him. So that was and being a model and a gay guy and being a model and a gay guy in the WC, that has to be relevant. So that was exactly the last encouragement I needed to go and have dinner with John in his house. And now look at me now, 7 years later, on my wedding day. That has to be the best advice he has ever given to somebody, considering the happiness you have brought into my life. So I want to say thank you to Kian. He's not around, but thank you, Kian. And also I want to take this opportunity to thank him because he was the person who really helped me when I so needed it. So if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here tonight. My background is a very humble one. I grew up in a poor house in Venezuela, but my mother was always making sure to provide me with everything I needed. Should I rewind?
No. Hey Marlon, if you want, it's your wedding.
If you want to, I would.
Okay, there is one person in this room to be blamed for my happiness, and that person is Dr. Kian Denihan. Kian, tonight is your fault. Here I am. Hello. I still remember 7 years ago when I mentioned to you that John had invited me to go to his house for dinner.
I take no responsibility whatsoever.
And you said to me, remember you said to me, well Marlon, if I was you, I'd go. And then you start to mention all the good qualities John had. And you say he's a nice looking man, blah blah blah, and blah blah blah. And the most relevant thing you said that I have never heard anything bad about him. And that was exactly the last encouragement I needed to go and have dinner with him in his house. So 7 years later, here I am on my wedding day. So I want to say thank you for that advice, and also want to take this opportunity to thank you for all the help you gave me when I so needed it.
Thank you.
Well, okay, I grew up in a poor house in Venezuela, but my mother always tried her best to provide me with everything I needed to make my childhood as happy as possible. We didn't have economical resources at all, but she always managed to make sure I was okay. She died at 56 and I was only 11. But those 11 years I spent with her were full of joy and happiness. She taught me so many lessons in life, and today I remember two in particular. She taught me to dream and how to fight for my dreams in order to make them come true. And the second lesson she taught me was to have to make my own decisions. I remember one day, I was only 8 or 9, and I remember having a tantrum. It was probably over a dress. And I remember her saying, okay, fine, make your own decisions, that's fine. But before they make your own decision, think of the consequences of your own decisions. Because even if you don't make a good one, in the end, it's going to be your own choice. And I have never forgotten that lesson. Actually, I have put a lesson into practice throughout my life, and it has paid off. That's the reason I want to dedicate today, my wedding day, to her memory. Because marrying that beautiful man over there is one of the best decisions I have ever made in my entire life. John, when I met you, my life changed forever. My life changed forever. I have learned to see life from another perspective because of you. You know the way I love myself very much. But I love myself even more since we are together because you have made me complete. Thank you. You have brought the best out of me, not only as a man, as a gay man, but also as a person. And I am really grateful for that. I still remember our very first chat on the internet. The way you spoke on the internet. As in chatting. The way you spoke to me, the way you were so honest and straightforward. That day you told me everything I needed to know to be with you. And I remember finishing the whole conversation and going back. And I reread the whole thing again. I went, fuck me. This guy. So, and I said to myself, fuck me. This guy is not only insanely good looking, but also so straightforward and honest. And that was the qualities that really brought me to you. They were.
Yay!
Thank you. And we don't have a perfect relationship because we are human.
Yeah.
Therefore, you make mistakes. But what I like about our relationship is that we are always trying to have a relationship based on communication, understanding, and respect. And I think that's remarkable.
Yay!
You are not only my lover and my best friend, but you are also the person I want to be with for the rest of my life. And from today, I am going to be very proud to be calling you my husband. Wonderful husband. Until he farts. Now, Sean and Polly Compton, thank you so much for bringing that beautiful man into this world. Otherwise, he wouldn't be becoming my husband today. Sean, I have to say, you are a great man. And I have you in such high regard. And I am really proud today to see that you are becoming my father-in-law. Polly, you are a definition of tenderness. You are an extraordinary woman who haven't realized how special you are. And that's why I want to thank you for embracing me into your family the way you have. Thank you. And you know what? I couldn't continue talking about especially important people in my life without mentioning my friend Eric. Eric and I met in Venezuela around 10-11 years ago, and we had the same dream. We wanted to leave our country searching for a better life. So we united our forces to try to make it happen. In the process we had some difficulties, but our determination was bigger than those difficulties. And in the end, we achieved what we wanted. I am pleased I met you those years ago, and I want you to know today that you will always have a special place in my heart. Always. You know what, guys?
4 more years.
Shut up. This is the moment I was waiting for, because this was the moment that this is not an opportunity to open my mind, but also my heart to all of you. So this is the moment I was so waiting for. And last thing, I want to say, it's all being cheesy and emotional and all that. If you have a dream, if you have an ambition, if you have an aspiration, go there and grab it to try to make it happen, regardless what is around you, because I am a walking testimony of what dream is all about, and I am a walking testimony of what happiness is all about. Okay, and I want to thank you all for coming to my John and I big day. It's really meaningful. I want to send the Angles Rest, this beautiful place. We got engaged here a year ago. Remember that day?
Yeah, I remember. I gave my ring.
Vivian, yeah. Vivian and Elaine were with us. And
smoke.
And I want to thank Una Williams for those pictures. I cannot wait to see them, especially to see myself. I want to thank Jennifer and her boyfriend for videoing the day. Thank you so much. And I want to thank you all for joining us. And please, have a drink, have a great time, and get really drunk. Okay? Thank you.